Suddenly, after a long sleep, a snowdrop woke up and started to push upwards. The unstoppable force drove her to reach higher and higher, pushing the heavy layers of the soil with her delicate shoulders. She was all in the dark, not quite knowing what was going on, but not able to stop it, and neither being willing to do so. Something inside of her told her that this was important. She knew deep within her core that she must rise. And so she did. Pushed and squeezed, coiling and uncoiling, she found spaces and air pockets, and finally, a glimpse of light became known to her. And so excited she was that she reached out with all the force remaining in her. The snow was much softer than the soil, and so the rise became smoother, and in no time the snowdrop broke free from the crust of the ice. She inhaled deeply, mad by the fresh air and the warm sun ray. She was alive, fully, and in her ecstasies, feeling the pulse of life through her, she bloomed with white bell flowers. And that was in that moment that she heard gasping and joyful laughter. And to her surprise, she noticed a group of people encircling her. They all had such joy in their faces, and they bowed down to her as they witnessed her rising through the dark soil, through the soft snow, through the crust of the ice, and finally into the light. And some proclaimed, "Finally, a messenger of spring. The spring is here." But the snowdrop was perplexed. Who is this messenger, she thought, and what is spring? She looked around her, but she couldn't see anyone but herself. So it really seemed that the people were talking about her, for everything else was white, covered in snow, and seemingly deeply asleep. She listened in with greater care, trying to catch the words of the humans. And she heard them speak of a long winter that lasted not a season but years and decades, and how many have been making offerings and praying for the spring to arrive, for the new life to emerge from what seemed like an endless sleep in the dark. And one small child seemed to hear the snowdrops thinking too. And as she wondered whether indeed the humans were bowing to her, the child ran out in the middle of a circle, stretched her chubby arms to the flower, and said, "Yes, you are the messenger of spring. Thank you for coming, for you bring a great relief to my people." "I bring no message," said the flower. "I didn't know of the spring or the deep winter that you were in. I just simply awoke. I'm afraid I bring no message to you or your people, dear child. I simply am a flower, a snowdrop. While you might think of yourself as a simple flower," the child answered, "but to me you are magic, You are a symbol of hope. Nothing bloomed before you for years and decades. You are the first flower to arrive. I only knew of flowers from the stories my grandma told me. I have never met one until today. You are nothing short of a miracle to me. The child jumped up and threw soft snow in the air in celebration. Thank you for coming, she said. Thank you for bringing spring with you, dear snowdrop. Knowingly or not, but your simple rising, your awakening, brought hope back to my people, and we are forever grateful. And since that time, people started to honor the arrival of a snowdrop, waiting for its rising through the cold, thick soil and the soft white snow. They held vigil and stayed up in the dark forest, waiting for the green shoots to emerge and for the white bells, touched by the warmth of the sun, to call in the spring. All along, as the snowdrop wondered every year as to why people do so. I am just a simple flower, she thought, but she never dared telling humans otherwise. She could see how joyful and hopeful they were with her arrival, and so she surrendered to being a symbol of spring and new beginnings, just as at the same time she simply knew herself to be a snowdrop, just as she is, driven by impulse and desire to live, for no purpose but life itself.